All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh Deming, and we are here for the pre-match stream before Canada in about 2 hours kicks off against Venezuela in the Copa America quarterfinals. And I'm nervous, and I'm excited, and I want to talk to you guys. We've done this before every single one of the Canada matches, and my score predictions have been 3 for 3. So I'm hoping to carry this on, and I'm hoping you guys are excited because it's going to be a massive, massive occasion. And I'm excited because I think we have a very realistic chance to win this match. And if we do win, we are guaranteed 2 more matches. Whether we win those 2 matches or not, we're guaranteed 2 more matches, which means we would play 6 Copa America games this summer, which is just absolutely incredible. I know we have the injury to Tajon Buchanan, no other suspensions through yellow cards, so it should pretty much be the starting 11 we're kind of all probably thinking it will be, but we'll go through that a little bit. But just let me know how you guys are doing today. Leave a comment leave your predictions in the chat. We'll go over them. We'll go through some predicted starting 11 talk, just talk about the occasion, see how you guys are feeling, and then once the lineup comes out, we'll react to that as well. So let's get in there. I asked you guys to leave your score predictions in the chat. We got a 2-1 Canada prediction. I said 1-0, by the way. And like I said, I'm 3 for 3. Not only with the results, but I went 2-0 Argentina, 1-0 Canada, and 0-0. So and I said 1-0 Canada today. So if we get this one right, we're 4 for 4. We got the 4-2 Canada prediction, I'm assuming, in pens. Let's go Canada, show the world who we're made of. It's a great opportunity. It really is. We've caught a lot of attention, this Canadian team. And, I mean, so is Venezuela. Like, full credit to them. 9 points out of a possible 9. They'll have to be feeling pretty good about this game as well. But, I mean, I don't know, man. I just feel like there's something in the air with this team right now. And I think we're 1 win away from, again, guaranteeing 2 more matches in this competition. It was absolutely incredible. Luke Harris says, let's go. Canada win. Nathan says Rondon versus Bombito. Does Laren start? I didn't have Laren starting for my predicted 11. I can bring up a little chart around that as well, but I don't know, man. I don't see it. I mean, actually, I do see it. I think Jesse Marsh will start Kyle Laren. I wouldn't start Kyle Laren. But let me know in the chat right now, guys. But just yes or no. Would you start Kyle Laren? I think that's the biggest question mark over this starting 11 is, I would go 4-2-3-1, throw Osorio in the midfield with Kone Eustachio. I don't know, but it got a little bit of a debate on X. So let's go check it out. I'll bring up my projected starting 11 and let me know what you guys think about it. Alex has got his up as well. We were pretty similar. But let me know what you do. Would you start Kyle Laren in this match? I think I wouldn't, but I think Jesse Marsh will. So this is the starting 11 I would personally like to see. I'd go 4-2-3-1. Grapeau as the keeper, obviously. Back forward, Johnston, Bombito, Cornelius, Davies, Eustachio. I'd bring Kone back in. I know he hasn't been great throughout this tournament, but I think he would come good in a match like this. I feel like his club, his move, his future is all figured out. He's going to Marseille. And I would just back him in a game like this. I want the 3-man midfield. I want Osorio to go in there. I want Richie down the right-hand side. I got a lot of feedback down in the comment section as well. But the other biggest feedback is a lot of you guys wanted to see Schaffelberg instead of Liam Miller. And then I have David up front. So, I mean, for Liam Miller, I want to see Liam Miller in this match because for a couple different reasons. Number one, I think Schaffelberg needs to start on the bench. He has been a game changer coming on, and he's done it in multiple games. I don't think he did anything bad in the match that he started. I just feel like he's that impact sub that you want to come against tired legs. And every time we've seen him, not only has he been a difference maker, but I mean, he was directly involved in the 1 goal we've scored in this competition so far. And he was just a menace. And I just didn't see a ton of that in the game against Chile. So I just feel like it makes sense. On top of that, I feel like we got a tease of what Liam Miller and Alphonso Davies could be like down that left-hand side. I thought in that first half against Argentina, we saw a lot of good things. I know Miller got moved over to the right the next match. He's kind of come and gone from the starting 11. But I feel to allow Schaffelberg to come off the bench against tired legs, you need to start Liam Miller. We don't have Buchanan at our disposal. So I want to see that. And I personally do think in a game like this, we could see Liam Miller and Alphonso Davies causing problems. I was talking with Alex in a preview we did, and he made a very good point about the Venezuelan back four and that they're going to be difficult to break down. They're very conservative, and having someone who can overlap the way that Davies can and allow, basically the defender to have to think about what he's going to do. Is it going to be Liam Miller cutting in? Is it Davies on the overlap? Can cause some problems. The spine of that team is very strong. They're two players in that double pivot are very good. Rondon's obviously incredible. It's going to be difficult. It is, and I want to see the Miller Davies combination one more time. And again, if it doesn't work, it's early on in that second half, switch it up and bring Miller off and throw Schaffelberg on. But then again, I ask you guys in the chat, what do you guys think of this? This is my predicted starting 11. What do you think of it? I don't think this is actually Jesse Marsch is going to do. I think more than likely, I think Kyle Larin will go in there, whether that's for Jonathan Osorio. I'd imagine that'd have to be it. Unless he sets Kone and plays that 4-4-2-2, but it's Osorio and Eustachio, and I don't know, man. I don't like that. I don't like the look of that. So that's what I would do. We need to start Kone. I think we will. I think Kone will come back in the starting 11 for sure. Predictions 1-1. It'll go to pens. I got a lot of you guys thinking it'll go to pens, and without extra time, I somewhat agree. I was going with my gut throughout my predictions. So 1-0 just stuck out to me. So I went for it. I see this one a lot. 0-0. Canada wins on PKs. I wouldn't mind it. 3-1. Ask some of you guys if you'd start Kyle Larin. Nathan says Larin and David have the chemistry. They are BFFs. Yeah, they got a podcast going on as well, asking about Jonathan David's future. So the Strikers Corner, if you want to check that out. But yeah, they have chemistry off the pitch. I don't know about on the pitch right now in terms of goal scoring. A lot of good off the ball work from these two, but 1 goal in 5 matches it isn't good enough for me. I just want to see something, bring Larin off the bench later in the game. That's fine, but I just feel like, again, a 3-man midfield is important. And like we said, like this Venezuelan side are very good defensively. If you want to break them down, I'd rather have someone with a little bit more creativity than a Kyle Larin. And Jonathan Osorio playing in that 10 role, I'd rather him have that weighted touch. Something that Larin's got good hold-up play, but they're going to be sitting back so deep that you need someone with creativity, someone who can make that pass. I trust Osorio. That's, again, part of my thinking. And like I said, 1 goal, 5 matches. It doesn't scream success. So it goes hand in hand. But I don't think Jesse Marsch will do that, if that makes any sense. Canada wins 3-1. The whole game depends on the officials. Officials have not been great this tournament. I'm not going to lie. If you're just joining us today, guys, drop a like on the stream and let me know where you're tuning in from. And let me know what this moment means to you guys. This is probably one of the most exciting matches I've ever been excited for in this program in my lifetime. I was only 4 for the 2000 Gold Cup, so that doesn't really count. I was excited for the World Cup. Kind of fell on our faces. But this is a quarterfinals, a matchup that, a tournament I never thought we'd really be playing in, and a matchup that I think that we can win. And like I said, all of a sudden we're guaranteed 2 more games, and this is a fun summer already. So, I don't know. I started covering the Canadian men's national team on YouTube right at the beginning of the World Cup qualifying campaign. And it's been an incredible journey so far, being able to connect and finding out just how many Canadian soccer fans there truly are in this country. So it means quite a bit to me. And I think hopefully we'll be in for a pretty good and pretty fun night. Got Kone scoring tonight. 2-0 win for Canada. Reality check for Venezuela. Venezuela, if you watch their matches, they haven't been that good. Not that they haven't been that good. I think they've been fortunate. If you watched, obviously, the Ecuador match, there was that early red card. That changed the outcome of that game. I think Ecuador, and especially the performance you saw them put up against Argentina, you would realize Ecuador probably would have squeaked through with 3 points. Nonetheless, Venezuela took care of business. And then that Mexico game, I think they deserved to win it. They created way more chances than Venezuela. They had a missed pen in there as well. So a couple fortunate gains, but at the same time, if you look at Canada, we've had 2 red cards in back-to-back matches. So we are, we have, we can't say much. I don't know if we would have got out of the group without those red cards. So I think kind of both of us are playing with house money right now. Ali Ahmed going to get some time today. I doubt it. I'd be surprised if we see any player who we haven't seen so far. Unless it's maybe Piet. I don't know. I can't remember if Piet came off the bench or not. I like the 4-3-2-1, but without TK. I don't know. TJ. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. 4-3-2-1. I'm trying to think how that would look like. What are your thoughts on Kone's confirmed move to Marseille? I love it. I think it's going to be a fantastic move for him. I think he is a perfect profile to play in Liga. And icing on the cake for me is that De Zerbi is the manager at Marseille. We've seen the incredible work he can do with youngsters, especially midfielders. He was according to reports, Kone was a priority target for De Zerbi, and I mean, I tend to believe that considering how quickly this transfer came about. I love it. I don't know if I would have. I don't know a better move, honestly, because again, I mean, there could be better clubs that are obviously better than Marseille, but it doesn't mean that he's going to get the playing time. I think that he's going to a very good league under a fantastic manager, and I believe he can earn a starting role. Doesn't mean he's guaranteed it, but I think he can earn it. So I love it. I think it's a 9.5 out of 10 move. The fans sometimes can be a little nuts, but you know, that's passion that happens. As an American, I'm so happy for Jesse Marsch and the Canadian national team. I like it. A lot of Americans I've seen on our preview comment and say how much and how excited they are for the Canadian national team, which is interesting because I don't know, just being kind of rivals, but I guess Mexico is your bigger rival, but we've been getting a lot of love from the U.S. Venezuela 2-0 win in a prediction. Venezuela will get a red card. That's what I say. Odds have the game equal. No favorite. Yeah, I mean, it's probably fair. Like I said, I mean, you look at these two. I don't think either one of these two nations would have expected to be in a quarterfinals against each other. I think both are playing with house money. I think both were solid throughout the group stage, but both got very fortunate. Like I mentioned, a red card completely changed our 2 matches. A red card changed their game against Ecuador. I think they got lucky to squeak through the Mexico game. I don't know, man. I still feel like I just feel like if Canada can play to their potential, I think we can cause more problems. Thoughts on Larea at right wing? It's not my favorite position for him, but without Buchanan, I think Richie brings a lot to these type of matches. I think he brings a lot of energy. He's obviously good on the defensive side of things. He can put in a ball. So I don't know if I would have started like a Schaffelberg instead. I really like this starting 11 to begin with. I really do. I want Schaffelberg coming off. I don't want to see Laren start, but he probably will. And if Laren does start, then I want to see Azorio go to the bench, just because, like I've mentioned before, when we've played the Azorio Eustachio 2-man midfield, we were basically up a man every time we did it, and which means you have more time on the ball, and you don't have to ask that much of him on the defensive side of things. I don't think he could do it over 90 minutes, so I wouldn't want to see Azorio start unless it's in this 3-man midfield. 1-1 Canada on pens. Amazing move for Kone, but we also have to remember Marseille is a chaos club. De Zerbi also had a terrible end to his year with Brighton. It's true. I mean, I'm not I still love the move nonetheless. I know Marseille is on. I mean, a lot of good things can come from having a good manager, and I think De Zerbi punched above his weight with Brighton when they finished 6th. He then had to play with Brighton when they were in the Europa League, which a club that doesn't have as much money as some of the big weights or the heavyweights in the Premier League means that, more game time. The players probably won't play to their standards every single game. So maybe it makes more sense that he slides down the table. He definitely didn't have as good of a season as he would have. That's clear. But I really like De Zerbi as a manager. And I think going to a league like Liga And with a club like Marseille, I think they could be in for a very good season. And like I said, the reports say that Kone was a priority signing under De Zerbi, and that I just love that. And I think a top 5 league with a manager like De Zerbi, I love it. We'll have to see what he does. Got Jeff coming in with a super chat. Appreciate that. I'm a Texan and tax supporter. Congrats to the rude Canadians. Any thoughts on the GGG situation? I appreciate that, Jeff. I have my bonding with the U.S. fans over the years has usually come from making fun of Greg. Most of the time when if someone's firing something my way, just, fun banter, I'll just mention Greg's name, and then usually it's just, you got me, like a quick handshake. Like it's a quick surrender, which just screams how much the U.S. fan base doesn't like Greg. I thought it was ridiculous that they brought him back to begin with. Like with the whole scandal that went down and, the mediocre performance at the World Cup, I just figured with that group of talented players, they'd go out and find a quality manager, or at least a manager that's got decent experience in the international game. They did that huge manhunt and found Greg with all the money they spent, and he's been even worse since he's come back. So I don't think he should have ever came back in this Copa America performance. Although, again, to give him a little benefit of the doubt, Weah got the red card, but at the same time, how much of that falls on the manager? And there's been a tendency to see this team making dumb decisions. And I just think it's a reflection of Greg. So as much as I've liked to toy with Greg over the years, I think it'd be best for the U.S. program to find a proper manager. From U.S. here, supporting Canada, stronger CONCACAF benefits us all. Well, it kind of goes with my Greg point, because I think the U.S. could definitely take it to another level, especially with a better manager. The Mexico-Venezuela game was quite entertaining, but I think we match up well. They are going to sit back, and we're going to have more possession today. Exactly, and it's why I want to see someone like Osorio in this starting 11. When they're sitting so back, when they're sitting so deep, it just doesn't really play to Laren's game. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna bring that much. I do, like I said, I want to give him credit all tournament long. He's been great off the ball, but when it comes to that weighted pass, when it comes to just finding a little spark, we need a number 10. We don't really have a natural 10 except for Osorio, and Osorio's been pretty solid the games he's played. So playing him in that 3-man midfield where he really has to just focus on being that number 10, I'd like to give it a go. And when that Venezuelan side sits deep, I'm hoping the creativity can come through him. And then again, having Miller and Davies on the left-hand side, I think could be a bit of fun as well. So this is the starting 11 I want to see. I'm excited to see when the starting 11 drops. Like last time, guys, if anyone sees the starting 11 drop, feel free to spam the chat and we'll take a look at it. This is just the starting 11 I want to see for those reasons. Let's take an over-under poll of number of fouls from that Richie will draw today. And it's the reason I want to see Richie start in these types of games. I thought he was great for what we wanted him to be against Chile, and I think he'll do more of the same in this match. He's going to cause problems. He's going to get under the skin of the Venezuelan defenders, midfielders. He's going to cause some havoc, and that's what he can do. And Richie can, like I said, you get him in a dangerous position. I trust him to put in a quality ball, and we're going to need that because we've been really struggling with putting the ball in the back of the net. So it's tough. Should we have gave Ugbo a chance? No, Ugbo didn't make the team. That was his choice. I think he should be here. But if it's him figuring out his club career, that's fine. It's tough, man. This is Copa America. I don't know how many opportunities we're gonna have to play in this tournament. It's a shame that he's not here. Love me some America. Love Canada. Who can play back up to Larea's position? Assuming he's playing at right mid. Ali Ahmed can play there, but I'd assume Schaffelberg would be the first man up, depending if it's Richie Larea coming off or Liam Miller coming off. Let me know in the comment section, guys. Would you start Schaff? Anyone? Because I wouldn't, and I got a big if I go through the comments here, the number one thing you'll see is swap Miller for Schaffelberg. That's the number one feedback I got. Or Schaffelberg for Richie. Like I said, I want him coming off the bench. He's proven that he can be a game changer. Tired legs, tricky player, just something different halfway through the game that, Schaffelberg just brings something very different to the other to Miller and Larea. So you just have to be alert and be ready for it. And some of the biggest nations in the world weren't. He came off and caused big problems against France, against Argentina. He obviously got the assist for the 1 goal we've scored in 5 games. He did fine, but I think he can be that X factor coming off the bench. So that's again, part of the reason I want to line up that way. I'd for sure, bring him on at halftime if things aren't going well, but if not, like a 60-minute sub. And I want to see a little bit more of that Miller-Davies relationship. Bombito going from Seacoast Phantoms to Lyon in 2 years is crazy. Yeah, I'm really hoping Bombito can move to a top 5 league. Ligue 1 would be perfect, because when you look at this team right now, there's a chance that everyone could be pretty much playing top 5 leagues. Like, imagine Osorio's Laren. Laren's in a top 5 league. So is David. Miller right now is playing at the championship level. Maybe he gets a look at a Premier League side. Eustachio's with Porto in the Champions League. Kone's with Marseille. Johnson's playing Champions League. Davies with Bayern. And then it's kind of like the back line. If Bombito was able to move to Lyon, and Derek Cornelius has been linked to the Netherlands as well as the Bundesliga. So it would be massive for some of our center backs to make a move, especially our young center backs, to make a move to a top 5 league. It would be game changing. So I really, really hope that happens. I'm rooting for Canada, says Jeff. I appreciate it. We need a big effort from Kone. Kone's been a bit of a worry, man. He has not had a good, like, he had such an incredible match against France to get ready for this. So I don't know I don't know if the Argentina match was because, it's 70,000 fans and the occasion got to him, or maybe it's the Marseille move. Maybe that's why they finalized it, because it seemed like it came quickly. I don't know, but Kone had a phenomenal match against France and then just has not looked like himself. He looks like he's overthinking it, and he's just making the wrong decisions. I'd still bring him back in the starting 11 and just hope he comes good, because he's that good of a player. And I don't think we have another profile that can really do it. I wouldn't do the Osorio Eustachio double pivot. It's just not for me. Not over 90 minutes, and not against this Venezuelan side. What's up, Spicy J? Spicy J. I don't think I've ever heard that one. I like it. What makes me spicy? Would be nice if we actually had Canadian supporters in the stadium. Yeah. So I believe I saw Shinetti put a tweet out that said there's going to be 50,000 plus people at the stadium today. About 49,000 will be Venezuelan supporters and 1,000 will be Canadian supporters. There's also 170, I think, credited me. Yeah, 170, and about 10 maybe are coming from Canada. So not great. Not great. The team needs Adekubi. Adekubi, I think, could have really changed the way that this team lined up. You could have put Adekubi at left back, which would have pushed Davies further up the pitch. You then maybe could have played Larea or Buchanan or Schaffelberg on the right-hand side. Even Miller, you could slide him over. We saw that a little bit. We saw Davies play further up the pitch, but stadium will probably be very empty. Right now it's 50,000 plus. So what happened to Buchanan? He broke his tibia. Absolutely sucked. He broke his tibia and will be out for 4 months, something like that. I believe 4 to 6 months. I feel like that's long for a tibia. I broke my tibia once. I don't remember it being that long, but I think it said 4 to 6 months, which sucks. Especially because he's supposed to have a big season coming up with Inter Milan. He was so patient last season, getting brought in. He barely played. He had a tough start to this Copa America, man. Tejan was just not very good in this tournament so far, which is a shame, because you still want him in a game like this. But unfortunately, he will have to be out for it. But from some of the reports are saying, it's going to make the team a little bit closer. We're all getting behind number 17. Canada winning tonight would literally make us legitimate on the world stage probably until 2026. I just think it'd be an incredible story, guys. Like, I never would have thought we'd be playing in Copa America. I know the 2016 tournament always gave me hope that it would return, but there's no guarantee it would. There's no guarantee we're going to qualify. And all of a sudden we're here and we're in a nice spot to make a semifinal. And even, again, just making it to the semifinal means that we get 2 more matches. 6 Copa America matches for this men's national team. That's what more could Jesse Marsh ask for? Comes into this program right before a major tournament like this. Has so many decisions he has to make. He has to try to make this team gel. like what he's done, despite, not always being pretty, has been impressive. I've seen a lot of Canadian fans being like, I don't want any more moral victories. Like, I don't. I want to see this team compete, and I want to see this team win. And you know what? We've been competing, and we picked up enough points to move on to the quarterfinals. And I'm pumped, and I hope he gets 6 matches, because that'll really give him like such incredible experience leading up to the 2026 World Cup. I'm just taking a peek to see when the lineup's coming up. Lineups are not available yet. Check back later. Not yet. We'll bring up the line. They should be coming out soon. That's not the lineup. I'll remove it. I don't want to confuse anyone. That was the lineup I would like to see, but not the actual lineup. I'll bring it up as soon as it's out for you guys. But if you're joining us in the chat, guys, drop a like and ask any questions you want. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know if you're excited for the match. If you were surprised, give me your score prediction. I'm just going through the chat right now and giving you some of my thoughts along the way. But I'm just in a great mood, man. I want to see this game. I've been nervous all day. I just feel like we have such a good opportunity to win it and move on. And at least, we saw Ecuador put up a massive fight and a massive performance against Argentina, and probably at the end of that game, they deserve to go through. And it's a shame, because all of a sudden you could have a semifinal matchup against Ecuador. Like this tournament could have been a little all over the place, but the favorites, unfortunately, are still in, and they're probably still the favorites right now. But they look beatable. I'll probably end up rooting for Canada, but I think Venezuela will win. I'm a U.S. fan. Yeah, and again, I'm not trying to take anything away from Venezuela. They've had an excellent tournament as well. First time ever they've taken 9 from a possible 9. They didn't do it any prettier or really uglier than we did in the group stage. Despite us making it to the quarterfinals, this Canadian side has not been fantastic. The Argentina game could have been, I love the way we created chances, but we gave up a lot. It was the first competitive match under Jesse Marsch, but I'll take the 2-0 scoreline. The Heat, I think, really threw off the Peru game, plus the red card was the reason we probably at the end of the day won. And then another red card from Chile. I thought we did a really good job in terms of game management, seeing that performance out. There wasn't really any scary moments, and I thought it was a pretty comfortable draw. And now all of a sudden we're up against Venezuela, who had a red card of their own to get them 3 points against the group favorites in Ecuador. And despite not the greatest performance, they found a way to get through Mexico. So I just think the best way to put it is both of these two countries are playing with house money, and both can be incredibly proud about how far they've come so far. But whoever makes it will get 2 more matches, which is I just think that's incredible. And we had a difficult time in 2023 with the amount of matches that we've seen this national team play. So after that World Cup qualifying campaign, seeing the reduction of matches throughout 2023, this would be a nice treat to get 6 matches in this tournament. Start Miller at left mid, Loré at right mid, and sub Schaff for the 60th minute for Miller. That's kind of what I think. That's what I'd like to see Schaffelberg. You could bring Schaffelberg on at halftime as well, depending on how the team is playing. But if not, 60-minute sub, that's fine with me. That's where I think we're going to get the best out of Schaffelberg. How'd he break his leg in training? That's crazy. Yeah. Tajon Buchanan is the only player that is not available to the men's national team today. Broke his tibia in training and will be out for 4-ish months. You're asking a lot of Eustachio starting Schaff, Miller starting for 50 minutes is the right move. Yeah. Yeah, on the defensive side of things, Liam Miller, that's why I think Schaffelberg. I think that's the reason Schaffelberg can be a game changer, because I'd say the 2 players that have received the most criticism with this men's national team, besides Kone, but it's not really anger, it's more so confusion, is Kyle Larin and Liam Miller. But again, for both those players, they do a lot off the ball that goes unnoticed. And Liam Miller played as a wingback all year. He has that ability to press. He has that ability to give a little bit more than probably a Schaffelberg could on the defensive side of the ball. And I think, you use him for 60-ish minutes, and then you're able to bring on a Schaffelberg who's just more direct. And you've seen a complete change of the way that this team plays. But when you started him, like Schaffelberg right from the beginning, it just wasn't the same Schaffelberg that came on and does something very different than Liam Miller did. And then all of a sudden, the back line was almost confused and surprised about how Schaffelberg was bringing the match to them. So again, that's just my logic with the starting 11 I was going through. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what Jesse's gonna do. I feel like he's gonna go for like the 4-2-2-2, and I'm assuming he's gonna start Laren. Laren and David have started all 5 matches so far under Jesse Marsh. Shaft's biggest strength isn't starting him. In my opinion, the opposing team is equally fresh, so it's much harder for overlap with your base. It's a good point. Nathan and I 100% agree. Jesse Marsh called out Peralter. He did. There's a little tension between the two. Yeah, Greg's just got to go. I'd say most people would disagree with that, including myself. On paper, there's just no. Canada's got a better team, which it's not very often we can we go up against some of the bigger teams around the world. We can say that, but like I can comfortably say we had a better team than Peru and Chile, and I agree. On paper, Canada's got a better team against Venezuela. Although Venezuela's still got a solid team. I was surprised about how many players that they have playing at a very, very high level as well. But I would take Canada's team on paper, for sure. Growing up, competing was almost unthinkable. Winning, LOL. Holy shit, we've come far. It's no, that's what I said, man. Like it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride going through World Cup qualifying, World Cup. Difficult 2023, but I just feel like I had us going out in the group stage, and I just wasn't feeling very good about the program. The Jesse Marsh signing just put a little life into me. I don't know what it is. I just felt like he'd be great for this program. He'd be great for this player pool, and it's not been pretty so far. But I mean, the guy coming in with almost no prep has gotten a good amount out of this team so far. So I've really liked it. With Buchanan down, Ali Ahmed should be getting some love as the one who slots up top in the depth chart. Seeing him play in Vancouver, he's consistently impressive. I agree. I'm a big Ali Ahmed fan. I've had the pleasure of interviewing him. He's a confident kid. He's a talented kid. He was my, in the depth chart for this 26-player roster, I had him down the right-hand side as the backup right mid to Buchanan, because I had Larray as the backup right back to Johnston, and I had Schaffelberg and Miller on the left, Davies at left back with, I think, Hebert. I've always been impressed with Ali's game. I don't know. I just feel Jesse Marsh has his guys right now that he trusts, and I'd be surprised. Not that it's harsh. Not that he doesn't trust, but you know what I mean. Like he's new to the job. He's new to the player pool, and he clearly, like the players that he's been playing throughout the tournament so far, he clearly knows what he's going to get out of them, and it's the reason we haven't seen a lot of players on this roster in this tournament so far. I'd be a little surprised if we see like a player we haven't, unless it's Piet. Like I said, I don't think Piet has played a minute. Maybe he came off the bench, but Piet's a 6. So, maybe very late in the match, if we're trying to fight out a 0-0 result to try to get it to PKs, he may be a player we bring on. I've been watching Venezuela play. They've been playing better than Canada has. Will be a tough one tonight. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think, if I had to pick who's probably should be happy with their group stage, I'd go Venezuela. They went from 9 for 9. But I think both have, like I said, been fortunate. 2 red cards for Canada. Otherwise, I don't know if they're getting out of that group. And I don't know, like Venezuela again, they had the red card, and I just wasn't impressed with that Mexico performance. Mexico could have found some finishing boots, man. Like they could have. I mean, they even had the missed penalty. Like they were the better team in that game, for sure. But Venezuela benched and didn't break, and they took 9 for 9. So yeah, you had to say, Josh, who should be happy with their group stage? It's Venezuela for sure. But I do think this match is wide open, and it could go either way. That's why I think the number one prediction I've seen so far is 0-0, and then someone wins on PKs. Callum's tuning in just outside Strathroy, Ontario, about an hour-ish from where I'm from, so nice. Callum, we're very close. Got a couple U.S. fans tuning in today as well. Got a 2-1 Canada on penalties prediction. Crapeau seals the W. I'd be curious to see if Jesse Marsh throws in Dane St. Clair. If you know anything about Dane St. Clair, you know he's an excellent PK stopper. And I'm wondering if he pulls the old Louis Van Gaal switch with like a minute to go. He throws in Dane St. Clair. I don't know. I feel like that'd be pretty ballsy. And Crépeau's fine, but I just like Dane St. Clair's got a very, very good record when it comes to saving penalties. So just something to think about. Thumbs up from Montreal. Let's go, Kone, represent Montreal. Let's go, Crépeau, represent Quebec. I like it. I like it. Crépeau has been fantastic this tournament. He's been, I was never convinced with Borjan. He was always just kind of a wild card in between the sticks. I was calling for Crépeau years ago, but Herman just loved Borjan, and I just thought maybe Dane could push Crépeau for the starting spot. But Crépeau has just been a wall, starting with the 0-0 result against France and then just taking it all tournament long. He's been incredible. He's been one of the best keepers in MLS for a while now. The man broke his leg to bring home MLS Cup. There's not much more you wanted of a keeper. Good with his feet, good shot stopper. Can play a bit of that sweeper keeper role. He's our guy, and I feel very comfortable with Crépeau being our guy going forward. Is there anyone tuning in from Venezuela today? Let us know. We put up in the preview. I saw quite a few Venezuelan fans or Venezuelan Canadian fans tuning in. So let me know if you're tuning in from Venezuela today, or if you're a Venezuelan Canadian. Because if so, welcome to the chat and hope you're enjoying yourself. Playing indoors with AC today should feel much better. Yeah. I interviewed Liam Miller a few days ago, and I just said, can you describe to me like how difficult that Peru match really was? And he was just at a loss for words. He says one of the hardest matches he ever played, and it looked that way. Crépeau has been very solid. He has been. Chile had a couple late chances. They did, but like half chances. Like they did almost nothing for the entire match. But again, they were down a man for almost the entire match. And we should have found another goal in there at some point to make it a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, they had like a late chance, but it wasn't one where you hit the post or it was like an inch away. It was a comfortable, decent chance that Crépeau took care of. Because as Samuel said, he has been solid. Ryan says a 3-1 Canada prediction. David Kone Schaffelberg. I'm 3 for 3. For anyone who doesn't know, and if I haven't repeated myself enough, but I thought it was hilarious because I didn't even realize it, and my boss was like, "Hey, Josh, by the way, you went 3 for 3 predictions." So I've nailed them all. So I got a lot of pressure tonight, but I'm going 1-0 Canada, and I'll raise it, and I'll say Jonathan David scoring. He'll get a second of the tournament. Could we see Ali Ahmed in this match? I don't know. I don't know if I'm being stubborn. I just don't see it happening, man. I just don't see it happening. Let me bring up the team right now, and I'll let you know. And I'll let you know what I think. Off the bench, like if you saw the starting 11 I put up, that's who I'm picturing. But off the bench, I'd be looking at. Like, I think Tanny's got a great chance to come off the bench. I think Kamal Miller later in the game could come off the bench. Laren/Azorio, depending who starts, I think could come off the bench. Maybe a Chouanier or Piet, one of the two. And then I don't know, man. Like I feel like, and then Schaffelberg, and those are my 5. I don't know if we're gonna see Ali. I really don't. I guess Laren is due. You'd think so. I hope he is. I hope he starts. I hope he scores. Or if he starts, I hope he scores. Any transfer rumors for Schaff? Joshua Cloak put out a rumor, or not, put out some rumors on him. Liga MX was one. I believe Belgium, Netherlands, and Bundesliga, but he didn't really give any teams. But Schaffelberg's been so impressive this tournament. You'd imagine he'd get some interest. But saying that, I don't know how much Nashville wants to let him go. Venezuela and Canada, very even level. Yeah, I just feel like our guys could raise their game a bit. I think we have more difference makers. Doesn't mean we've been playing up to it, but I just feel like between Davies, David, Laren, Eustachio, Kone, if they can just figure it out to piece it together at the right time, they could be a dangerous team. But saying that, I mean, Rondon has had an incredible season in Liga MX. He was so good for Pachuca, both in the league and in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Right down the spine of that Venezuelan side, it's very strong. Ramos had a really good tournament as well. Soteldo, which TFC fans will be very familiar with. He can be a hit or miss player, but when he's on, he can be dangerous. Nice lineup. Miller is great, but I would love to see Shaft start. That's definitely the biggest feedback I've gotten on my predicted starting 11, or at least what I'd like to see. I don't know. I don't know what Jesse's going to do. I just have a feeling he's going to put Shaft back on the bench. Anybody miss John Herdman there, or you, Josh? I love everything that John Herdman's done for this Canadian program, both with the women's and with the men. I think he did an excellent job, and I think he left it right at the right time for someone else to come in. So I don't miss John for the reason that I think Jesse's the right man right now, and I think John did all he really could with this program. I think he knows that. I don't have anything bad to at all say about John Herdman, because it's just such a special, so many special memories. And he did a lot of really, really good stuff for this program. But I think it was just the right time for both parties to make their separate ways. Have you seen Jonathan David's podcast called Striker's Corner? I have. It's nice. It's nice seeing Jonathan David come out of his shell a little bit. He's a pretty reserved, quiet man. And I'd say so is Larian. It's not like I was picturing some players on this men's national team to create a podcast. I mean, obviously Alphonso Davies comes to mind. We've seen him on Twitch. He's got a great personality. Alistair Johnston would probably be another one who comes to mind. He's a very vocal, very funny guy. I think that duo would be funny. These guys, it just took me by surprise a bit, but I've watched it so far, and I love it. I love it. You can see them opening up. They feel comfortable with each other. And it's just a nice look into two of the most talented players we have in our pool. And I found it very fascinating listening to Jonathan David kind of talk about his future, because as someone who's followed David pretty much since he's went to Europe, the number one thing I'm excited for this summer is, besides Copa America, is for him to get his move. Like for the men's side of things. But man, I don't know. I don't know where he's going to go. I have a video coming out soon with a Chelsea content creator. So keep an eye out for that. Just on Jonathan David to Chelsea, and if it's going to work or not, or if it should happen. We'll have to see. Got a lot of comments in here. I need to pick it up. Got a super chat coming in. I appreciate it, my man. Argentine American here. Please, with Canada and Venezuela's playing this tournament, rooting for Canada in the game to set up a fun rematch in the semis. I like it. I appreciate the super chat, my man. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I had a great time watching the Argentina-Canada game, because all three of Canada's matches so far have been very, very different from one another. And the Argentina match was just fun because it ended 2-0, but anyone who watched it knows that's far from the actual scoreline. It could have been, I think, 5-2, 6-3. Like, there could have been so many goals. Argentina was very wasteful. Canada had they had way more chances than Canada did, but Canada had a few clear-cut chances they just could not take. And I didn't know what kind of tournament we were going to be in for after that. I was like, we are very, very easy to play through. And I thought we were going to be in trouble, but Peru and Chile are obviously two very different teams, and there wasn't a ton of chances that came through those two matches, but it was very fun. And I mean, after watching Argentina against Ecuador, it gives me more of a feeling. I mean, at the very end, I'd say Ecuador had a better chance to go through. If I was looking at those two teams towards the end of the game, I think Argentina was getting a little nervous, and they were almost wanting penalties to come. And I mean, after Messi missing that first one, I thought it was going to be a Chile 2016 all over again. But they made it through, and they're still going to be the favorites. Timothy says, love the channel, mate. I appreciate that. Hope you guys are all enjoying yourselves. If you are, be sure to drop a like on the stream and put in questions. Any questions you guys want around the game. I'm going to try to answer as many as I can before I got to hop off. probably I've probably got still like another 45-ish to go. I'll probably go for like an hour and a half here. American here was reviewing Berhalter's greatest hits and went back and watched our World Cup qualifying match against Canada with you lot. And the one he said we had a dominant 2-0 loss. Yeah. I mean, you guys did definitely have you guys were the better team. I'm pretty sure possession in that game was like 75-25, but that was by design. John Herman had a masterclass. He just allowed you guys to play with the ball. Greg and his team couldn't do absolutely anything with it, despite having, like I said, about 75% of the ball throughout that entire game. And we just waited for a couple opportunities and took them. So yeah, you don't and US fans were ripping on him back then too, but yeah, you dominated the ball, but it doesn't really mean you had any clear-cut chances until it was a little too late. Yeah, David's podcast is great. I'm surprised how much they care about the Canadian national team fans' opinion. They do read our comments or tweets. Yeah. It's hard. I mean, it's hard when you go on social media, despite being a player. I've talked to a few different professionals off camera about it, just kind of asking like, do you keep an eye on social media and stuff like that? And he's like, we're human, man. Like, not like I'm not talking about Jonathan David. I'm not going to say any names because I did this off camera, but I've asked a few professionals that I've interviewed over the years just because I like to hear what they have to say. And some, like a couple guys say, no, like I just, I block it all out. I don't really check it. I don't really have socials. That makes it easy. But then guys who do say, yeah, like we're human. If I have a bad performance, I don't want to do it, but I find myself on X. I see comments. It's hard. It can be hard sometimes because fans are passionate and they're not always forgiving. So it doesn't surprise me that it doesn't matter how big of a player he is, there's always a chance, he'll look on socials. And especially when you create something for yourself, like Jonathan David's creating a brand for himself here with the podcast, he's going to want to improve it. And he's going to want to, allow himself to have this safe space, but he's going to want it to do well. So he's going to read comments. It's easier for a content creator like David now to read those comments and want to improve the product for the viewer. It makes sense instead of just, going out there playing the sport and then whether he does good or bad and just checking Twitter because he doesn't have to change anything. He knows he has a good game or he knows he has a bad game. But anyways, getting sidetracked. As an American, I highly advise against going to Chelsea where there's attacking talent go to die. Yeah, it's, Chelsea's my Premier League club. So like I'd like it. I had Feroz on. So, I mean, for anyone who is aware with him, that's who I interviewed. I'm still waiting to drop it. It was a really good conversation with him. I think we're both leaning towards it, but we'll wait to get in there right now. I've openly said I don't want to see David go to Chelsea, but now I'm starting to. I don't know, man. I bet it's Mon. No, it's Feroz. Had a bunch of options. I think I put a tweet and asked a few guys who should I get, and I got a lot of great feedback. So it is Feroz. It was awesome talking to him, fellow Canadian as well. So it'll be nice to drop that video sometime next week. Canada should have made it 1-0 or 1-1. No, not Chelsea. Herman completely outcoached Berhalter. It was embarrassing. Why did John Herman leave? Like I said, I think it was time. I think he wanted a new challenge. And I think it was the right call for everybody. He was here for a long time. He did great work with the women. He's done great work with the men. And, now he's got an opportunity with TFC. He had a really hot start. He's in a bit of a hole right now, but I wish John the best. American here, if JJD is fired, is there a scenario where Marsh leaves Canada to take the U.S. national team job? What price would it be to make that happen? I doubt it. And I don't think I've talked to a lot of U.S. fans. I'm close with Tact and Pete and kind of that space. So I kind of asked how, like I did a whole video about the U.S. perspective about Jesse Marsh signing on for Canada. And a lot of the feedback I got was that Jesse didn't actually fit the U.S. player pool. Some U.S. fans agree with that. I'd say more so do, but some don't. And some think that no matter what, whether he's a perfect fit, Jesse would be better than Greg. I don't think that Jesse's going to leave Canada, and I don't know if the U.S. would even target him. From what we've heard Jesse say about that interviewing process, I think he felt a little insulted and looked over, and now he's gone to Canada and playing with house money because how early he's arrived before this tournament. I don't think there's any way that he's going to leave. I don't think that Jesse wants to leave. I can't speak for him, but I also don't think the U.S. would waste their time even trying to lure him away. So I don't think that's going to be an option. I think Jesse will be here until at least after the 2026 World Cup and see what happens from there. American here. There's not a chance of this happening. Jason, we rejected him. Jason. Come on, Jason. I'm assuming you're referring, you mean Jesse, right? You have to mean Jesse. Yeah. But I agree with you. I think this comment is referring to this question, and I 100% agree. There's no chance. I don't think Jesse, like I said, I don't think Jesse wants to leave. I don't think they're even gonna look. Marsh's never leaving. Marsh wins tonight. He's granted citizenship. You saw him singing the Canadian, he was singing with the team. He was singing the Canadian national anthem, which was nice. Yeah, Greg. If you're asking me to put money on it, I would for sure put money on Greg staying until 2026. For sure. I mean, just from someone on the outside looking in, I just don't feel like they're going to admit that they made a mistake, and they're going to keep him, and they're going to keep him until his contract's done. Then they're going to do a whole process, and they're going to hire him again. I really wanted him at Liverpool personally. Thought David would be a perfect replacement for Firmino. I think he would have fit Klopp's system really nicely, and that was kind of the first big rumor we heard after that Lille season, where he won the league on title. Liverpool was floating around, and that kind of got a lot of Canadians excited way back then. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and now it's been a few years, and we're wondering what will happen. And if I'm putting money on it, man, I don't know. I'm thinking Chelsea or Tottenham. Those are the two I'm keeping an eye on. Do you think Canada has a chance of going to the semifinals? I do. I would say that I think it's gonna be such an even match. I mean, if Venezuela wins, I think it's gonna be by 1 goal. If Canada wins, I think it's gonna be by 1 goal. I think it's a very likely scenario this thing could go to PKs, and it's a flip of the coin. But I do like our chances, even in penalties. I like our chances. I think we have better PK takers. If I'm looking at this team, depending who's on the field, but Laren, David, Davies can all take penalties. I know you guys probably don't love Davies taking a penalty, but in a shootout, it's different. And we've seen him score penalties for Canada before. Eustachio, Azorio, I both trust taking pens. Tanny can take a pen. Russell Rowe, Theo Bear. We have a decent amount of guys who can step up and take penalties. Herman left because his tactics were getting stale. He's getting a bit long in the tooth, and TFC offered him a giant bag of money. Some similar, kind of similar to what I'm saying, but it kind of sums it up. It was just time for him to move on. I was worried we weren't going to replace him at all. Canada has clearly better players than Venezuela. However, as a team, close. Still can't believe people are saying Venezuela will advance. I mean, I don't think it's. If I'm a Venezuelan fan, I'm backing Venezuela 100%. We just went 9 for 9. We got Canada coming up. And as a Canadian, I'm backing us. I think both, like I said, I think it's going to be close. I think on paper, Canada's got better players. I don't think over this tournament, I'm overly convinced that we're going to go in here and get a result. But I'm just kind of hopeful, almost like this is the match where it's just going to click that little extra. The finishing will be there. The chances will be there. Because against Argentina, we were creating a ton of chances, couldn't score. Against Peru and Chile, we were not creating much. And we didn't have the opportunity to really do anything. And like I said, the back line has been great. We've kept back-to-back clean sheets. The red cards obviously help with that. There's just a little bit more structure and a little bit more understanding with this group right now. And I'm just wanting it all to kind of click together right for this game, where the chances can come. And when they do, we have David and Laren or whoever it may be up front, finding the back of the net. Yeah, we're going to have to see, man. Coaches usually stay for a full World Cup cycle, but not Greg. Greg's never leaving. Have you heard of the rumor that Eustachio might be coming to MLS? I did. I tried to do some digging into it. I couldn't get much, but I wouldn't look too much into that rumor. I don't think it's going to happen. Formations are out. Lineups out. Formations. Ooh. All right. Okay. Is it on Twitter as well or no? All right. Starting 11's out, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Is that the same starting 11? So Kone doesn't get the start. Wow. Right? Am I blind? No, Kone. Wow, I'm surprised Kone didn't. Damn. All right, let me pull it up for you guys. I'm very surprised. Very, very surprised. Just sharing it. All right, so it's Crepeau, right back Johnston, center back Bombito, Cornelius, left back Davies, Larea at right mid, Osorio, Eustachio, Schaffelberg, David, and Laren. I can't believe you left Kone out. I feel like this was a game for him. What do you guys think? Was that a mistake? I don't know, man. Huh. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like it. But let me share it. All right. So, Kone. Yeah, I don't know, man. The thing I don't like about it is playing in this 4-2-2 with Osorio and Eustachio. I mean, I guess we haven't really got a fair shake to see how it would go, but I felt like there was some nervy moments when we were 11v11. And now, basically when Osorio came on against Peru, he came on at halftime, and then not even 10 minutes later, they got the red card. And then we were up a man. And then against Chile, Osorio Eustachio started in the midfield, and they got a red card, 25 minutes in? So we played with that Osorio Eustachio two-man midfield up a man basically the entire time. Now, saying that, that's why I just felt like it would be more balanced having Kone in there with Eustachio, Osorio further up the pitch. But saying that, Canada will be expected to play with more of the ball. Venezuela will sit deeper. Their fullbacks are conservative. They're going to have to find a way to get through that double pivot. Having someone like Osorio instead of Kone can be a benefit because, like I said, he's a more creative player. He can find that pass. He'd be a more useful player to break down a stubborn midfield and a stubborn back four. It's just if we get caught in transition, I know that there's not a ton of speed in that Venezuelan front three, but I think Rondon won't be threatened that much by Osorio in the midfield and during his hold-up play. And I think if he can, get Soteldo, and I don't know. I think it's just a bit of a risk. Like I said, I think the more balanced approach would have been going with that three-man midfield. But let's see what you guys think. Rate the starting 11. I'm gonna give it an 8 because Who am I to judge Jesse right now? Yeah, like I say, I trust Jesse's decision here. So, we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Venezuela takes 9 for 9, and Canada 4 points with 1 goal. Yeah, I said that earlier. I said if coming out of the group stage, I'd be the happier of the two teams with being Venezuela. But like I said, saying that, I mean, we played Argentina, so that took 3 points off of it. Although it was a fun match. We also had two red cards that we were playing against, so we were set up to hopefully make it out of this group. Lamar Miller. I said rate Canada starting 11. 11 out of 11. Give me a percentage you think that Luke comes on at the end of this match. 0. There's 0% chance. And I said that before the tournament even started. I'm like, I think there's a 0% chance we see Luke Fougerolles in this tournament. I don't see that changing right now. I think we see Waterman before we see Luke Fougerolles if we need a center back. We also have Kamal Miller, obviously. So I'd say 0. We're not going to see him in this tournament. Yan says 7 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I give it a 10. Jesse balls out. I got a prediction of a 3-0 Venezuelan win. Let's go, says Dave. I hope it goes to pens. I hope it doesn't. I'm 4 for, like I said, I'm 3 for 3 in my predictions. I want to go 4 for 4. So I said 1-0 Canada. I want to see it. I don't think we're going to see Hebert either. I think Liam Miller will be a good sub today. Yeah, like I said, I'm a little surprised. But it's not that chap didn't do anything. It's not like he was bad when he started at all. It's just he's just such a game changer coming off the bench. And that was the biggest question mark when he started against Chile is, will he bring that level of speed, of ability to run at the back line? Can he cause problems? And I mean, he was energetic, but it wasn't the same. When he came off the bench against France, against Argentina, and against Peru, it was immediate. You could tell he was a fresh legs, and he was running at a tired back line, and he was causing problems. He put in 4 or 5 quality balls in that Peru match. One of them ended up as an assist. He was running at players. He was playing with freedom, and he was a very different looking profile to what Liam Miller was doing. And it really made the back line think. And when he started him, like I said, it's not like he was bad. He didn't do anything wrong. It's just he wasn't the same player as he was coming off the bench, which is the reason I thought he would start on the bench and Liam Miller would come in. And like I said, I also wanted to see Liam Miller and Davies in that kind of combination played on the left-hand side, because I liked some of the stuff I saw against Argentina. But it's not what Jesse wanted to do, and that's fine. Let's see what happens during the game. You will see. I don't know. Kone is probably going to come off the bench at halftime. Terrible idea to leave him on the bench. I just think it makes a bit of an I don't know. Like I said, we the Osorio Eustachio double pivot was only working in my mind because we were up a man. That was it. That was the number one reason. And I don't know how it would look in an entire match. The nice thing is if it looks uncomfortable, we can always make changes at halftime. But I just don't like it. I would have liked to see Kone come back in. I trust him more in that role. I'd rather all 3 in the midfield. But that's not how Jesse wants to play. And I don't know why I'm surprised, because he's played the 4-2-2 in all 5 matches. He started Larin and David in all 5 matches. I made my starting 11, but I knew that wasn't going to be it. But I did kind of think that he was going to bring in Kone. It says Kone has been the worst player on Canada. He can't control the ball. He always loses it. I mean, in Copa America, he has not been good. I agree with that. But the one match before, it was one of the most impressive midfielding. I don't know, man. There was a 6-7 minute highlight reel on Kone against France. And I know it's a friendly. I know it's not the same thing. And in a real competitive match in Copa America, Kone has not been good. I don't disagree. but he's still playing France, one of the best countries in the world, and he had a phenomenal performance. It was so good. Every touch he had, every movement, every driving run, every defensive effort. When he was surrounded by players, he could turn and break free. He was so good, and it was shocking to see how mediocre he was in these first few matches. So much so that Jesse Marsch obviously yanked him off at halftime to put on Osorio in that Peru match. And now we've seen him not start in 2 straight matches. So, Jesse Marsch isn't playing around. Kone has not been up to speed. So I do get it. And you know what? When you're playing with house money, why not? Why not play the hot hand? I get it. Maybe I'm being too conservative from what Jesse Marsch would do, clearly. Because I would have took Kyle Aaron out. I would have put Kone in. I'd have a 3-man midfield. And I'd have Osorio in that 10. But instead, we have 2 strikers. We have 1 CDM. We have 1 10, who's going to be asked to do a little bit more on the ball on the defensive side of the game. And we're going to be open in transition. There's no way we're not going to be. Jeff, another super chat. Appreciate it, my guy. Says Tact and Pete have banned me for making the very zesty comments. Gotta hang out on your channel. I have some zesty comments for you. All right, you can try me, Jeff, if you want to. I don't know what kind of zesty comments you're doing, but I feel like I'm surprised that I don't know what you'd say to get banned from Tact and Pete's channel, man. You must have pushed the buttons there. I feel like in terms of laid back guys who can say offside things, Tact is right up there. So I'm curious. You have me intrigued about what you did to get banned from there. In defense of Kone, he was going through a big transfer behind the scenes. It's true, and like I said, a friendly is a friendly. That's it's why a lot of people don't like watching them. This was a competitive match against Argentina in front of 70,000 people and playing Messi. He is human. I'd like to think it went down to that. The next match, he still wasn't very good. So, I get it. But like you said, he was going through a big move. And he got his move. He's a Marseille player. It's a huge move. He got it done. I don't know. We'll have to see. That super chat was wild. Yeah, I don't know. Jeff's... I don't know what Jeff's doing. The zesty comments. Probably about Greg. Tact is a blind Brazil fan. I don't know, man. Are these zesty comments? Are you wearing underwear? Jeffrey. No. France missed so many chances today. They did. I can't believe that they're going through, though. I'm disappointed. Actually, I didn't really care. It's not like I really care between France. My background is German, so I wanted Germany to win, and they got dumped out. Do you think it's a mistake not playing Joel Waterman tonight? No, definitely not a mistake. I wouldn't change anything in that back four. Johnson, Bombito, Cornelius, Davies. I think Jesse Marsch has done everything I've been screaming about for a better part of a year. I wanted Cornelius to come through and start every match. I wanted Davies to go left back. He checked both those boxes. I didn't know who I really wanted to be that left or that right-sided center back. Bombito had an excellent start at the right time in Major League Soccer. He caught the attention of Jesse Marsch, and it's been awesome to see. He's exactly the profile player we needed for this back four. He complements Cornelius well. I think Davies beside Cornelius also works. I think Cornelius has shown why he's a step above Kamal Miller right now. And like I said, Kamal Miller was one of Herdman's guys, and I've been screaming for Cornelius. And to be fair, when Cornelius did get a chance under Herdman, he never really stepped up, but he didn't get a ton of reps. He just kind of thrown in, and if it wasn't a great performance, he was kind of back on the bench. And I give Jesse a lot of credit, and that's been one of the things I've liked most about what Jesse's done with his team, is he's just doing the simple approach. He's like, guys, I'm hired before a major tournament. I don't know this player pool that well. I'm obviously familiar with the players and know which ones maybe kind of fit my style, but I've only had a few training sessions with them pretty much in those friendly matches to get the understanding I want. So from what he learned, he's like, you know what? I'm playing the 4-2-2. I'm going to ask this, and this from these players. And these are going to be basically my 11 to 14 kind of guys. Like you can pretty much pick Jesse's team, and you can pick who's coming off the bench, and I'll do so right now. When you look at this team, Jesse's making it simple again in that 4-2-2. Crepeau's the keeper. Nothing there. Johnson is going to be the right back. Bombito, Cornelius will be the 2 center backs. Davies will be the left back. In the midfield, you can make your choice. I would have went with Kone Eustachio, and he did. Kone wasn't playing very well. In came Osorio. Down the right-hand side, it probably would have been Buchanan. He wasn't playing that well anyways, but since he got injured, it's Lorea now. Down the left, you had the choice between Liam Miller and Jacob Schaffelberg. He kept giving Miller reps, but Schaffelberg has been super impressive. One of the most impressive players in this tournament for Canada, especially coming off the bench. So he's going with the hot hand, and he's starting Schaffelberg from the beginning. And then up front, for the 6th consecutive match, we see the David Larin partnership. Off the bench, we're going to, if it's my guess, I could see Tanny, because we've seen him before. Kamal Miller will come on at some point. Liam Miller will come on at some point. Kone will come on at some point. And then it would have been Buchanan, but because he's not there, we have a wild card. I think the most likely scenario is we only see 4 subs. That's what I would guess. He doesn't always use the 5 subs. So my guess is we'll see those 4 players. And if you pushed me on it, because there's maybe PKs, we could maybe see a Jason Russell-Rowe come on. We've seen him score a few penalties in Gold Cup and in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But if we're holding on to a result, it could also maybe be Piet. Maybe Waterman, but maybe Chouanier, man. I don't know. But I don't know. Tact is sexy. It's a married man. Davies could break out today. Hoping so. American here. Now that my U.S. men's national team have crashed out, I'm here to support Canada. I like it. Man, a lot of U.S. fans are coming over here and cheering on Canada. I don't know. I find that surprising, but I'm here for it. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. It's nice. Like I want to see the region. I want to see the region do well. I wanted to see the U.S. get out of the group. It's always fun to keep an eye on them. So, I kind of get it. As an Arsenal fan, I hated how Havertz played. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like Havertz that much as a striker. I watched him at Chelsea for years. I know he scored our Champions League winning goal, but he's not a striker in my eyes. I don't really know what he is. Wasn't clinical at all. Germany, Spain was the best game of the tournament. It wasn't an entertaining game. Had some money on it, and I lost it. It sucked. Bombito and Cornelius have been great as a powerhouse defensive duo, in my opinion. It is, and it was huge. We needed 2 center backs to step up. We did, and that's what I love the fresh eyes about. Because John Herdman, towards the end of his tenure, I couldn't get some of his decisions, and then Biello came in. He was similar kind of thinking to what Herman was doing. And, if you watch Derek Cornelius and how much he's matured ever since he went over to Europe, from his time in Greece to now having a couple really, really good spells in Sweden right now and going into his 2nd season, there's just no reason to not make him your starting guy. And then you have a kid coming up who's, he's raw. He's kind of took the Tejan route going through college. Now he's having his really first breakout season for the Colorado Rapids. And he's that right-footed, fast, athletic, and good on the ball center back that you need. It's perfect timing, because if it wasn't those 2, man, like, I don't know if I would trust a Kamal Miller in the tournament like this. And other than that, you'd probably have to go with Waterman or Hebert. And I don't know if they would have risen to the occasion. I think we needed these 2 center backs to step up when we did, and they're a big, big part of why we're sitting in the quarterfinals. Johnson played really well last game too. He did. Tact actually loves my zesty comments. He says I'm the channel mascot. It is just, a little jacuzzi there, Jeff. Larin and David got more chemistry on that podcast than the pitch. Oh, that's true. It's burned, but it's true. Yeah. No, I mean, it's the reason I wanted to see Osorio and Kone and Eustachio in that 3-man midfield. It just hasn't been working, man. And the only thing I can think of is, like I said, I think Jesse Marsh knows that they're too good for it not to come good. Jonathan David and Kyle Larin have an incredible goal scoring record for the Canadian men's national team. They've scored goals together. We've had question marks around like their partnership going forward for a long time. But, you know, they do score for Canada. David has scored in this tournament. I just feel like this is match number 4. I just feel like it's one of the group stage games we might have and should have seen something a little different. But I don't know. Like I said, I think Jesse's thinking. I think us Canadian fans are thinking it. They're too good not to come good. So I'm hoping that this is the match. If a chance comes their way, they better bury it. As a Canadian, what is your opinion on the U.S. early exit? Do you think we messed up in not picking Marsh? I don't think you guys messed up in not picking Marsh. Like I said, I've talked to a lot of U.S. Personalities, and they all kind of had the same conclusion that they don't know how good of a fit Jesse would have really been with the pool and the way that he wanted to play. That being said, I think Jesse would have been a better pick than Greg. I don't know what all the options would have looked like. I think you just made a mistake bringing back Greg. I think it all started there with the scandal and the mediocre World Cup and just a lot of different issues and getting the best out of the players. But the attitude, he was just the wrong guy, man. And they went throughout all that wild goose chase and spent a bunch of money just to bring him back. It made no sense. And he's been even worse since he come back. So I think I don't know if many U.S. fans would say much different, but he should have never been brought back. And crashing out the way that he did with the 2026 World Cup coming up, I just feel like you need a better manager. If I was the U.S., I'd go out and find an experienced, like, I don't know. I don't even know who's available, but it's not Jesse. Berhalter is a terrible manager. Who's Canada's best player? Alphonso Davies. I haven't watched Canada in a while until Copa. What happened to Buchanan and why was he benched prior to injury? So Tejan moved to Inter Milan in January, and I mean, I could count on. Well, it's a joke. I don't know how many minutes he actually got, but honestly, like, he did not get that money. Maybe he got 50 minutes for Inter Milan in the entire rest of the season. Now, when you move from Club Brugge to Inter Milan, you know, you take it, you laugh. You're like, this is a phenomenal move for a Canadian player playing at a team like that. But at the end of the day, Inzaghi's very difficult with his substitutions, and Buchanan was on the outside looking in. He very rarely featured. And you can say all you want about training and training with better players and whatnot, but at the end of the day, if you're not playing, you're not game shape. Like, and Buchanan didn't really look like himself coming back playing with Canada. I don't know. He just, like he said, he looked a step off. He looked a step off, and I think that's the big reason why he was benched. And now, unfortunately, he picked up a broken tibia, which sucks because I think coming in halfway through the season is difficult for any player, especially going into with a bunch of players that were rolling the way that they were. Inter Milan was on fire when he joined, and Inzaghi, like I said, he had his guys. It wasn't until really late in the season where they basically had the title wrapped up. You saw Tejan come on the pitch for still little spells. So it would have been nice to get a good preseason in and try to impress and try to find a role in this team. And now he's set back, which is just a disaster. It's so sad. It's disastrous for a kid who's worked so hard to get a type of move like this. But I think I think not playing and playing games the way that he did had a big impact of him falling to the bench. And unfortunately, we're not going to probably see him for another 4 months. Do you think having 2 strikers is essential to Jesse's high press? You could argue that. And like I said, I think the biggest argument for David and Larin to keep starting together is their work off the ball. I also thought it was a big reason that we were going to see Liam Miller again. I think Liam Miller brings a lot more than Schaffelberg will off the ball and on the defensive side of the game, especially if you're going to put Azori in the midfield beside Eustachio. Like, I found that a little surprising with the starting 11, but you can rely on Richie to do, defensive work. You could also maybe shake this team up a bit. I'm just speaking out loud, guys. You could also, in that Peru game, when he brought Kone on, he did switch up the shape a bit, which allowed a back 3, which allowed a little bit more coverage for that midfield. So you could do 3, like a 3-4-3, ish. So it could be like Crepeau is the keeper. Right wing back is Larea. Outside right center back is Johnston. We've seen him play there plenty of times. Bombito in the middle. Outside left, Cornelius. Left wing back, Davies. Osorio and Eustachio now are your double pivot, your two-man midfield with the back three behind them. And then you have Schaffelberg out on the left. David would probably move to the right, and Laren would play through the middle. It could be an option. Just something for Jesse to play with. And we saw him do that against Peru a little bit. But like I said, more than likely, it's just going to be a 4-2-2. But yeah, I think the two strikers, I think Laren and David, I think like Jesse's spoken about it. He loves what Kyle Laren has brought. And I think he views those two strikers as being a big part of the way he wants to play. And Jonathan David is one of the best pressing strikers in world football. Full stop. This game cannot start sooner. Okay, Fairs should have gone to the Bundesliga. Wingers are able to farm that league. I thought Buchanan would have been a perfect fit for the Bundesliga. I did. But again, a move to Inter Milan, the way that they play. I mean, he was always going to probably move to a wingback role of joining a team like Inter, but I still think he could be really good there. But some other players could be there as well. You know, we could see, like I said, Jacob Schaffelberg's been linked there. Theo Baer's been linked there. I know he's not a winger, but he's a striker. There's been, I think, a few Canadians. Derek Cornelius, good ball playing center back, could do well in that league. I love the Bundesliga. It's one of my favorite leagues to watch, being German, obviously. And I just feel like some of our Canadians could really shine there. And yeah, and Laren was a big part of the goal. The one goal we scored came from really good hold-up play from Laren, released Schaffelberg, who was, again, he had the legs, he had the pace, and he had the, honestly, the very, Schaffelberg's got very good footballing IQ. And if you watch that Peru game with some of the balls he was putting in the box, there's no reason we shouldn't have scored another goal. But the assist that he did get, he took one kind of, I don't even know if he took a touch. If he did, it was a very small touch, and he knew exactly what he had to do, and he just laid it on a plate for Jonathan David to walk in and put a nice finish. It was a really well-worked team goal. Don't sleep on Tanny. I'm not sleeping on Tanny. You guys asked me which subs I'm expecting, and you asked about a few players. Like I'll go through the subs one more time, and I'll let you know whether I think we'll see them at all, if we're for sure going to see them, or if we might see them. And I think Tanny's the first man coming off the bench. The first man. All right, so the first striker coming off the bench. I think Tanny's going to be the first striker coming off the bench for Canada. So, I don't think we're going to see Ali Ahmed. If you're going to push me, I don't think we're going to see Theo Baer. I think we may see Chouanier. I don't think we'll see Luc de Fougerolles. I don't think we'll see Kyle Hebert. I think we will see Kone. We won't see McGill. I think we will see Liam Miller. I think we will see Kamal Miller. I think we will see Tanny. We may see Piet. Again, Piet, Chouanier. We may see Russell Rowe if it's going to pens. I think he'd be the penalty taker they're taking a look at. And we won't see St. Clair and we won't see Waterman. Do you think Eustachio, or do you think European clubs would be interested in Schaffelberg? Yeah, Cloak put out a report saying a few different leagues. He didn't hint at any clubs. He said Liga MX, the Bundesliga, the Belgian league, and the Eredivisie. So he mentioned 4 different leagues have interest in Schaffelberg, but it's going to be difficult to see Nashville wanting to let the player go. So that could be an issue. So I tried to do some digging on it, but I couldn't get much out of it right now. I agree. Kone is going to come out as an attacking midfield in the second half. No Buchanan, so he will be used as an attacking player. You think Kone will? I don't know. I feel like we could, depending on how the game's going, I feel like Kone could come on just a like for Osorio. And honestly, I don't really see anything else. I mean, maybe if Laren comes off and we bring on Kone, we then push Osorio up. We saw that already for a little bit. I don't think so. I don't think so, man. Josh's suggested starting 11 is perfect. I liked it. But again, if you would have asked me how comfortable do you feel like it's going to be, I would have said not very. I didn't think that there wasn't going to be a way we didn't see We didn't see Laren and David up front. That's it at the end of the day. I think the Zori over Kone surprised me a little bit. But Jesse, like I said, Jesse has his guys, and Laren and David are clearly... Well, David's going to start, obviously. But, I mean, Laren, I always felt like you could have maybe left him off, tried something new. But that's just not his style. Not his style. Will there be a new call-up? No. No, there will not. Would have loved to see Theo Corbiano in this tournament. Yeah, he was... I mean, Alex is very big on him as well. I like Theo quite a bit too, and he broke on the Canadian stage pretty early. He got the move to La Liga. He'll be playing in the second division over in Spain, so good opportunity for him to maybe feel just a little bit more comfortable. Hopefully find a starting role. But he's got some work to do to break into this team. We have some depth around the wings, and I always felt like it was him, Schaffelberg, who was going to get on. And I think Schaffelberg's done nothing but build goodwill with this team right now. I can see Russell Rowe coming on for Larea later in the game. Yeah, especially if Pens are coming up. I mean, like I said, he scored in the Gold Cup for Canada. He scored for the crew in the CONCACAF Champions Cup final. Like, I think he's the first. I think he's the. If we're bringing on a late PK taker, I think it's going to be him. I rewatched Davies' Champions League goal against Real. Forgot he had that in him. Yeah, that was a special moment. Then the Santiago Bernabeu, cut it onto your right and just hammer one to the back of the net. Bombito going to keep his head tonight? I think so. He's still young, man. You got to remember how raw this kid truly is. And I thought he had a really, really good tournament so far. Although saying that, he should have received a red card against Chile. Like if I was the opposing team and fan base, I would be livid. And like I'd comfortably say he should have been sent off. He also had a couple nervy moments, but I think he caught himself towards the end of the game, which, when your heart's in your chest, when you think you might be getting tossed out, to trying to find that composure back and push on and push through it. I think he deserves credit, and I think he's got the mindset to bounce back, and he's gonna have to prove that tonight because it's gonna be a tough game. If you guys are just joining us today, drop a like on the stream and get your prediction in the chat. I've seen a ton of predictions tonight. A lot of you guys are asking what my prediction is, so I just figured I'd get some of your guys and we'll go through them together. I say 1-0. I say 1-0 Canada, Jonathan David goal. That is my prediction. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Yeah, Bombito got lucky last game. That was unexpected. That was not good from Bombito, man. Not good. Will it go to penalties? I'm saying 1-0, but like I said, that just what kind of came to my gut right away, and I'm sticking with it. I'm 3 for 3 on predictions, so I'm going with the gut. But I think because there's no extra time, if it's like the 75th minute, like I could totally see the teams just running it to pens, shaking hands and being like, you know what, let's see who's gonna figure this thing out. So I think penalties could be likely depending on how this game goes. Scrappy 1-0 Azorio goal. There are a bunch of bandwagon Canadian fans watching for the first time today. You know what? And that's okay. Because, I mean, part of the reason I've started this channel and part of the reason I love what I do is because I want to help the sport grow in this country. And whether it's a bandwagon fan or just someone who genuinely wants to get into the sport, the best way to do it is to play in these tournaments and to compete in these tournaments. I watched the Chile match with friends. I have never watched Canada play with anyone else besides Producer T in my life. So to watch the game with a bunch of non-soccer fans really was a really special moment, and they wanted to be there. I said, guys, I'm going to watch the game. Like, you don't have to come. And all 20 of the guys I was with came and sat down and watched it with me because they were interested. They're like, okay. And they're asking a ton of questions. Like, why is this team playing in Copa America? Who are the good players? Like, how's the game going? Like, and then they were getting into it and they were getting excited. They weren't thrilled that it was a 0-0 game. I'll give them that, but they were excited to see that the team moved on and just to understand how far the program came. So for someone who's watched this sport my whole life in a small town of not very many soccer fans, especially a friend group like I have with not very many soccer fans, it was really cool to see them all want to watch the game with me and cheer on Canada. So like I said, bandwagon or not, playing in tournaments like this, doing well and getting the country behind you is the best way to help the sport grow in this country. So Jesse Marsh and this team should be proud about their performance so far. They're playing with house money, and I'm really hoping that, people take an interest to it. And if they beat Venezuela, man, they're guaranteed 2 more games. They get a semifinal against Argentina. They get to play Argentina, the defending World Cup and Copa America champions, twice in one tournament. They get to play, as long as he's not injured, they get to play Messi twice as well. But yeah, so sorry for going on a spiel, but I'll give you another shot. It's not the growth that bothers me. It's people heavily criticize the team without knowing how far they've progressed, and that's fair. No, and I didn't take that comment as like you were being like, oh, don't become fans. But it happens, and I noticed it a lot during World Cup qualifying. Like I followed the team from as early as I can remember, because I've always loved this sport, and I'm Canadian, and I follow them through a lot of dark times. So like I know how far they've come. I'm assuming you have as well, by the way you're talking. And then during World Cup qualifying was the biggest spike. I mean, it's the reason it's the reason this channel exists. It's the reason I got a job with One Soccer. It's, the World Cup qualifying changed a big part of my life, and it got a lot of fans. A lot of people became interested on this long, because we started in the first round of CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, and then all of a sudden to see like all these these players mesh at the right time and to follow that progress, it was a lot of fun. But also picked up a lot of fans and a lot of new fans. And when things weren't going well, and I think back to when everything was going so smoothly and Marc-Anthony Kaye got that red card, and then just a lot of really rude and horrible comments came online, it wasn't okay. And it probably came from guys who were just jumping on the bandwagon and saw them lose I think that was the first loss that they ended up picking up. But I get your point. But yes, growing the sport does matter. And I've seen it firsthand. Long-time men's national team supporter. You're doing a great job, man. Keep it up. I appreciate that, Dave. You guys have been awesome as well. Big part of the reason I do what I do, and I'm hoping we can continue the party. We can keep the party going for another 2 games. Play like you want 2 extra games. They've got at least a good chance against Venezuela. 1-0 Canada, 34th minute goal, and hang on for dear life. There you go, man. Need another JoJo goal to get his ultimate team card upgraded. I like that. I like where the priorities lie. Excited for the game. A lot of people starting to bandwagon fans, then fall in love with the sport and become a permanent full-time fan. Everyone has their own way. And this program has come a long way, and so has the fan base. And it's been fun to be a part of. Max sucks, to be fair. Yeah. He had a good run with the men's national team. How are you feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm 3 for 3 on predictions, guys. So I have to feel good. I got Canada winning 1-0. Oh god. Just thirsty. Why hasn't Kamal Miller played yet? He was fantastic in World Cup qualifying in the Belgium game. It's because his starting time, I don't think is there anymore. Cornelius, I think Cornelius is a better player, and I think he's gonna be our guy going forward, man. He is, 100%. He is. I think Kamal will be just an like he's like the first center back coming off the bench, same way kind of Tanya's the first striker. But our clear duo, and I think it's gonna be our clear duo for a while now, unless like Luc de Fougerolles really breaks out. Bombito and Cornelius. And I love that Jesse Marsh realized that right away, and he's went with them and he's trusted them. It's been awesome. Have you asked Pete or Tack to join you during the stream? I think Tack is out, but what about Pete? I'm moving over from this stream to the One Soccer stream. We'll be doing the watch along over there. So if you guys want to watch the game with me, head over to One Soccer. I'll be ending this stream shortly. I'm going to try to get Tact and Pete back on the channel. I do have a video up with Tact just talking about who's going to go farther in Copa America, US and Canada. If you wanted to check that out, but I'm probably going to have them on after the tournament's over and just kind of do a little recap on how, what happened with the US and Canada and CONCACAF in general. And I had Pete on recently as well doing the Jesse Marsh hiring in the US perspective. So definitely gonna have them both on. I'll try to get them on together. Pete's got a difficult schedule sometimes. I followed this channel since before Josh had a beard. Now I've always had a beard. I have always had a beard. It doesn't take very long to grow, so it just depends how far along I am. But I've had a beard since I was like 14. It's just if I'm clean shaved, you can't really tell. But I like that, Bubba. That means you've been here for a while. Because if I keep it clean, like nice and cleanly shaved, we're laughing. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap this up. If you're with us one final time, drop a like on the stream. Head over to One Soccer if you want to continue the watch along. And before I end the stream, we're going to get a final word from our channel sponsor, BetStamp. If you like sports betting, this is the Trivago of sports betting. Go check them out. There's a link in the description. Exciting news for the channel. I'm thrilled to announce that JJD TV is partnering up with BetStamp and SignUpExpert. This opens up an incredible opportunity for you to join up with some of my favorite sports books to get the best odds and user offers throughout Copa America. Head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/JJDTV to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with unique offerings. If you're ready to take your sports betting to the next level throughout this tournament and want to show some love for the channel, I highly recommend you signing up for your next sportsbook through my SignUpExpert link. You can easily find it in the description of this video. Nailed it. Thanks, Josh, for the plug. All right, guys. Yeah, we'll see you over on One Soccer. Dima's over there streaming right now. There's a free match for FC Vancouver if you want to go check the tail end of it, and I'll be over there for the watch along. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Drop a like on your way out, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers, friends.